Really cool.
Man, we have turned over the calendar from 2024 to 2025, and we are turning over MFC from MFC 5 to MFC 6. All kinds of exciting stuff going on. You guys remember me, and if you don't remember me, this is your introduction. Hello, I'm Kyle Shipp. I am largely your entertainment for the weekend. Jamie Free, the fabulous, strong-jawed Jamie Free, as one of the guys that we know and we love. You've seen him last year with us, and then a not so new face in a new role is Chris Martinez. Chris stepping into the director's role this year. As Chris, you've been with us for several years. And have been in kind of the operations, scheduling, equipment / whatever else you needed to fill role. And so, Chris, tell us a little bit about your involvement with MFC in the past, and kind of your involvement with competitions in the past.
Yeah, so I've been involved with MFC in the past. I think it was year 2 that I joined the team. I just asked Jamie, I said, hey, I know you're running this competition with some others. If you guys need help, let me know. I can do as much as you want or as little as you want. I can take out the trash or I can run the event, whatever you guys need. And so Eamon was running the event at the time. So Jamie hooked me up with Eamon. Eamon then said, hey, we have a need. Can you run equipment? I'm like, yeah, I could run equipment. Never running equipment before in a competition, but I ran several competitions in the past. So I filled in that role and really just came up with a team. And then we started thinking about the logistics, thinking about how to set up the equipment and all of the stuff that obviously a competition needs in order to run smoothly. So I did that for several years up until last year. Last year, our event director decided to take a different way or a different approach or different directions, what I'm trying to say. And so Jamie asked me to step in and I stepped into the role. But as far as my CrossFit background, I've been running CrossFit competitions since 2013. So 2013 on, and I've run corporate events. I've done that since 2011. I've been a fan of CrossFit. I've been an athlete of CrossFit. I've been a father to a CrossFit Teen Games athlete, a husband to a CrossFit Masters athlete. So I've seen every area of the competition world with CrossFit, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
You're kind of starting to sound like the Maximus Decimus Meridius of CrossFit. Husband to a CrossFit athlete, father to a CrossFit athlete. But no, I mean, really excited. For those of you that don't know, Chris is the master of the schedules. I've never seen anyone who can figure out a schedule better than Chris. It's quite incredible. Hey, but so speaking of schedules, not necessarily in terms of something new, but maybe something expanded. I'm sure you guys have seen. If you haven't seen, then maybe we need to fire our social media guy. If you haven't seen, it's me. But we are doing the CrossFit Pairs Championship. And so the open is the beginnings of that. The qualifier is using the open workouts. Jamie, I know you've been a part of MFC from the very beginning. You were one of the core members that actually started MFC. And so I know you've kind of been in the middle of this as this has come about and kind of become a thing, quite frankly, for the CrossFit Pairs. Dude, tell us a little bit about maybe how it started to come about, maybe where the idea came from, and kind of what that is going to look like in terms of competition weekend.
Yeah, honestly, it came around pretty organically. Myself and Bobby Petrus, one of the other owners, we really want to get back to the roots of what CrossFit is. I mean, when I started CrossFit, it was the open, and then you went to regionals. And I know Chris is very experienced in that side of things with his wife. I actually, the first time I met her was at 2013 regionals. So, I think that we wanted to get back to that. We wanted to get back to having something for the affiliate. And the affiliate is what's important. So, and obviously, our community is just amazing. Like, I love seeing the best part, all the trouble that goes on with putting on a competition. The absolute best part is seeing the smiles on the people's faces the weekend of, so that community is what deserves something like this. Some recognition, some opportunity to really put yourself out there with the best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And interesting. You talk about, kind of your background and the 2013 regionals. It's one of I take it as a really cool compliment. Right as I was starting to get competitive in CrossFit is when regionals were falling off. And not that I would ever been like going to a regional myself. I'm not you nor Chris's wife. But like I got a chance to go and watch, and it was such a cool environment.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest compliments that we consistently get is that MFC has that old school regional feel. And I think you can see or you can see why when you've got owners, you've got directors that like grew up in that and absolutely love that. It's going to take on that feel.
Yeah.
So, as we move forward, so we go from something that is kind of an old school classic feel. And now, I don't know, Jamie, maybe you're a good answer for this. Chris, maybe you're a good answer. Taking something sort of new. I think that's one of the interesting parts is it's sort of new. MFC has been doing pairs teams for a while, but pairing up to be the CrossFit Pairs Championship is new, and adding, a few different divisions now is going to be a little bit new. How's that going to look on the weekend up? Because we're still going to run these concurrently like we've been doing for several years now, but how's that maybe going to look the weekend of for people that aren't experienced with MFC?
I mean, it's going to work pretty smoothly. It has the past 2 years that we've had, past 3 years that we've had it. It's really just replacing that team side of things, so it's just essentially what it looks like. It's a different way to qualify because you used to just sign up. Now you just sign up and do the 3 open workouts and combine your scores together, put them in comp corner, and then you see where you fall out. It's nothing will change for us, so if you've been to MFC, it's going to look the same as it has, hopefully better. Every year has been better. So we've just continued to grow and continue to learn, and it'll run smooth. You're going to be doing the same workout, not same workouts, but not necessarily that, but you'll be doing the same, using the same equipment as the individuals will. Now the individuals will qualify in May, when our qualifier is. So there is still a qualifier for that. That is some questions that I've gotten, that you have to sign up for the open. If you wanted to qualify for individual, you don't have to sign up for the open. That's fine too. But if you want to sign up for the open, cool, do it. It's going to help the affiliates at the regular level.
Yeah. So Chris, we're talking about, tell us a little bit about maybe the slight changes that happened because of some of the new ages that are going to be a part of MFC.
Yeah, so the slight changes as far as what the
18 to 34. We're
Yeah,
bringing the kids in.
Yeah, we're
18 to 34.
Kind of open it up now to where it's Masters Fitness, and we still have the individual Masters Fitness. We're still going to have our Masters teams, but now open it up to 18 to 34 for a pairs competition.
Yeah, but it really isn't a change. I mean, we started at 30 years old in the last couple of years, and so therefore we're just expanding the age groups. I mean, we had 30 to 34, 35, 39, so on and so forth. And then so we're just introducing a younger group, expanding the demographic. I mean, yes, it's a Masters Fitness Championship. I mean, it is for the Masters audience, but why discount a group? Because there's no other pairs championship anywhere else. Why not just have it at our competition?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Because Jamie was talking about the community, and that's always such a big deal with MFC is the community. And I've always tried to, in media, lean a little bit towards emphasizing the community and emphasizing that while in the past it's only been Masters on the floor, that this is so much more a competition that brings everyone in. It just the older people are the ones that are on the floor, and you have it's fun to see kids and fun to see adult children on the sidelines watching, cheering on parents. And so now we continue to bring in that community aspect of it. Okay, so you guys are talking about
and think about this. How fun would it be? And I know Chris has competed on the same floor as Cole and the same team as Cole. Like, how fun will it be to see 18 to 34-year-olds or 18 to 30-year-olds who wouldn't normally compete at MFC competing with their parents there?
Yeah.
Their parents are competing as an individual, they're on a team. I mean, that's going to be those moments that we're going to create that nowhere else does.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and so you were talking briefly about, things not really changing, kind of being able to keep that consistency and that flow. And I wanted to make sure that while we're kind of in that, I want to make sure that we name first off I want to name our title sponsor. Oh, I took it off too quick. Our title sponsor in the Chili Goat Cold Tubs by Master Spas. Man, these guys are awesome. And I love how too, they are also like super dedicated to the community.
Yes.
Last year, man, they were excited to be there, and you could really feel over the time when we announced them, you could really feel that their staff started to get even more exposed and experienced to CrossFit. By the time that they were at MFC, these guys were as giddy as everybody else was to be there. And I just see that has continued. And I thought it was a really cool setup last year, them bringing, they had, what was it? 4 cold tubs. They brought a sauna, and really were kind of the centerpiece of that recovery area that MFC is known for. And they're back. Could talk a little bit about their involvement and how important it is to have a recurring naming sponsor.
So, the cool thing about it, honestly, is they're right here in Fort Wayne. So we've actually worked out a deal with them at our home gym, Mad Apple CrossFit, where we work with them. They get a little discount to come into our gym. A lot of their people come in. So they're already very familiar with CrossFit. They've been coming to our gym. They've been figuring it out from there. But, having some continuity in title sponsor is key to any event being really successful. You don't want to constantly be searching for a new title sponsor all the time, and you want someone that's going to actually.
Oh, all right. Well, so we'll have to get
there we go.
Okay,
there. Back.
You're gonna want someone that actually cares about it. So
yeah.
I think if I could piggyback on that,
please do.
I think having
Did I
a
lose you guys?
consistent presence.
We've still got you, Jamie. You're just frozen.
Yeah. I think having a consistent presence in that role really helps out because you have the continuity from the year before. You don't have to wait until you sign another title sponsor. You could basically build relationships going further. You could say, okay, this is what we're going to do next year. This is what we're going to do the year after that, so on and so forth. So I think it's really cool having them like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think the continuity thing is such a big deal. We talk about the continuity with our sponsors. We talked about the continuity with while we're adding. We're going to have a new division technically of pairs. It just kind of continues the MFC. I mean, it's the same MFC that we've been experiencing and continuing to get better at, continuing to add on. I know last year, 2 years ago, I was involved with media. 3 years ago, for some reason, they gave me a mic and said, "Hey, announce this competition." But last year was the first year I was really involved heavily in the media, and learned so much from that, and hopefully be able to turn that over. And I say hopefully, I think we've already seen some of that turnover, but kind of with all of it, how important that, like you said, that continuity really is.
Yeah. And even though we're growing, even though we're adding different things, it's still, we're running it. And when I say this, I don't mean this in a negative way. We're running it like a small competition with just more people, meaning that the meticulous details that go into running something small cannot get lost when you grow. And so, you got to think, if we want to do this next year, how many more resources do we need to put in place? How many more sponsors? How many more volunteers? How many more athletes do we really need? And that's what we're doing. Like I said, I've been involved since year 2, and I've seen it grow from the sidelines, on the sideline, on the field, and then now, help quarterbacking this event with Jamie. I definitely see how that's what we're doing. I mean, even on our team right now, I'm not ready to announce it, but our team right now, we've grown our team. Just the fact of how we're going to really execute the new components of the competition while keeping the competition run as smoothly as it has.
Yeah. Well, and so speaking of sponsors and continuity in sponsors, once again, Virus is back as the official clothing sponsor of MFC. Boy, it was nice. We saw Virus last year and really saw this resurgence of Virus starting with MFC. And I think a really good sign I think it's a good sign for MFC just in terms of one. I mean, I love the clothes. Like I wear them all the time. There's a great brand placement here, by the way.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, just in terms of the fact that Virus wants to continue with this, talk about, I know we talked already about Chili Goat coming back. Is it the same thought line with Virus coming back?
I mean, I believe so. I believe that having someone invest in us, it builds that relationship, and it feels like we're going to be able to provide a really wonderful kit for the athletes. We learned a little bit from last year. We're going to make sure that this year is a little bit more of a always going to look for an upgrade as we continue to grow. So last year was amazing, and this year should be even better.
Oh yeah. So all right. Okay. So been talking about sponsors, been talking about stuff that has been the same, and the continuity and how awesome that is. But there is something that is fairly major that has changed, and that's actually going to be who's going to be programming the event as Mayhem Athletes stepping on. And I think this is an exciting thing, that having Mayhem Athletes step on, their programming, especially the programming for their competitive stuff, I think has always been super high level and kind of exciting. How did that come about? How is it that we've got Mayhem, and talk a little bit about like what it means to have them on board?
I mean, that was a conversation, and Chris and I both know the guys there very well. We had been speaking to Rory for a while. Jake Lockhart, I think we feel like we've known him for
Ever.
God, yeah, it seems like forever. He's been in the space forever. He came up around the same time I did, so he's just much younger. So he started at a better age, but. I think that it kind of just started really organically. We were looking to make some changes. We wanted to take some stuff off our plate because last couple of years it was a work in progress, getting programming and then trying to figure out how to adapt it to the different divisions, to RX and Elite, and then obviously in the age groups as you go up. So we were trying to figure that out, and we just really wanted someone to have the capacity to do that for us, with some say. Obviously we will have some say in that programming, but I think that it just happened organically, and I think Chris started talking with them recently.
So Jamie and I, just like he said, we know the Mayhem guys very well. Jake was on the same regional team as my wife a couple of years when they competed together.
Mhm.
And when I was still running my event in Tennessee, called Battle of the Barbells, when I was still running that event, I contacted Jake and I said, hey, I'd love to partner with Mayhem Athlete. What do you think about programming for the event? And he's like, absolutely. So he got together with Rich, and then they came up and actually, programmed my event. And it was a very smooth relationship. They sent the workouts to me. When we went back and forth on revisions, on equipment, everything. It was very, very well. The partnership was awesome. So therefore, when we were thinking about making a change for this year, I had no idea, but Jamie was working behind the scenes, working with Mayhem Athlete. I was kind of talking to Jake too at the same time. And then I finally told Jamie, I said, hey, what do you think about getting Mayhem Athlete on board? And he said, man, I'm already talking to them. So it just worked out great. It was awesome.
Originally,
I've been
yeah. Originally, I was like, well, I can probably program this. And then I started doing it, and I'm like, I really don't want to program this. So I was like, all right, I started talking to Jake. Chris started talking to Jake. We combined it all together, and it really just, I'm very thankful that those guys were able to figure it out in their schedule. I'm thankful for the relationships that Chris brings into this as well. When he says that we're working on this together, don't get it fooled. This is Chris. Chris is he's the one that's powering this. So I'm going to be going down to Mayhem in 2 weeks, and we're going to program the event. I will have most likely little say. So, we'll see how that goes, but it's a fruitful relationship so far.
Yeah. It's funny, you talk about it, and so being involved for a couple of years now and kind of being involved in the background for a couple of years now, it's always interesting to see the way that programming develops. And you talk about you started it and then realized, man, I don't know if I want to do this. It's amazing to all of the things. I was always when I decided to program for myself, I was always an atrocious programmer. I was programming for myself like I was Rich Froning or Matt Frazier. Like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. Let's do 120 GHDs in between all of this. Like, I was an atrocious programmer. But it's interesting too, because when you start talking about the layers of a competition, and within 3 days, and you got however many workouts, and not only are you talking about that, but you're also having to talk about equipment needs, you're having to talk about timing needs, you're having to talk about multiple divisions. Like it's like the work just continues to compile upon you, and so when you can get somebody who is used to doing it like Mayhem Athlete and excited for them, it's interesting to see how that can actually really reduce stress and increase quality.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Listen, we are thankful for the relationship we have with Invictus.
Oh,
They
yeah,
did a great job. So I have nothing but positive things to say about them. This is just a different direction that we decided to go since we switched pretty much everything up in this year. So thankful for them, thankful for the relationship we have with Mayhem.
Yeah. And then Kyle, like you were just saying, I mean, it's getting experts or people that are really good at different things running those components of the competition is essential. I mean, we have a solid team of people who are professionals, volunteers, judges, scoring, media, yourself, right? Operations, we have equipment, logistics, vendor relationships, all of those different parts of the team. We're bringing on people that have both experience in smaller events and larger events. I mean, like the Rogue Invitational, the CrossFit Games, Wadapalooza. Yes, we have a really solid team, and that's really what it takes.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, it's funny. You I knew you were gonna say me, and I was like, don't say me. I always kind of chuckle because that's really the thing I'm most known for here is the beard. We've got that's about it right there. The beard and the smile. I laugh. I'm trying to think who it was last year. Somebody they thought that I ran the competition because they always saw me everywhere, smiling and talking to people. And I said, no, if I was running the competition, I'd be tucked away in a room back there somewhere trying to do all the planning that needs to get done. I get the really good job. I get to take pictures and do interviews and smile, and I let you guys deal with all that stress.
But you know what, though? You bring up a good point, because you're the face at that moment, if not the face of, obviously on social media, but we have our volunteers at that moment. They are the face of the competition. And so there's a level of ownership that goes down from Jamie all the way down to us, Bobby Petrus all the way down to us. I mean, I know, Jamie gives me a lot of credit, and yes, I do a lot of work, but I can't do it without the team. And one thing that I do want to at least leave an impression is that every single person in the organization, both on staff and then also volunteer, has a sense of ownership in the competition. I mean, we want to bring a high class event for every facet. I mean, if you think about volunteers, vendors, spectators, staff, athletes, everybody's important. So everybody needs to be the face of the organization at any given moment.
Yeah, and the less they see of Chris and I, the better off it's going to be, because those people we'll be handling the stuff that no one needs to know about. Everyone else needs to be the ones that those happy smiling faces, and we have the team for that, which is really beautiful.
Oh yeah. I always laugh because every time I see you guys and some of the other directors huddled up in the back behind the curtains, I realize that either one, I need to walk the other direction, or you guys are about to ask me to put together a video about an announcement that I'm going to spend 8 hours trying to figure out how to make. So I always just try and avoid those little huddles. Go do something else and let you guys find me.
Just don't go in the back room, Kyle.
You sound like that actually happened, which it did.
So. Okay. Hey, so it's just you talked about volunteers. Tell me this, because Chris, with you and the way in which you were scheduling last year, the scheduling of events was really funky last year, with CrossFit turning over the Masters, and then the Legends guys had a small window of time to try to find, and so everything kind of got really super condensed. And now we're seeing a lot more spacing. What are some of the opportunities, not necessarily for athletes, but what are some of the opportunities that we're going to see at MFC this year for vendors, for spectators, and for volunteers?
Yeah, so this the venue that we're at is what they did for year number one. I wasn't there present. You were, I believe, an athlete, Kyle, and then Jamie. Yes, right.
That's right, man.
Did compete.
I was not there. I was at a medical facility making my children. So
yes, I remember that.
Your godchildren, okay?
Let me clarify. I was not there, but I do remember.
Yeah, you were not there.
I think last year was a little bit stressful because you had Legends won the CrossFit Masters basically a month before MFC, and in athletes that's one thing, and some will turn it around and some won't. But boy, when you're asking volunteers to turn that around, and you're going from one week in one place, another week in another place, it gets really tough. And it was interesting talking to people because they so love coming to MFC. I think people are going to be really excited now that there's more space, that they don't have to make that choice of where am I going to go, what am I going to do. I'm really excited for the community in that aspect to be able to experience a lot of different things.
Well, and we got to hope that there's no hurricane again, because that cost us a fair amount of volunteers coming from Florida and like Georgia and those areas. So, that was, I will tell you, in the back room, there was a scramble. Chris fixed it. We figured it out. It was like, all right, we have 30 less volunteers for judging. Like, how are we going to fix this?
Yeah.
It came together.
So I had help in fixing it. Shay helped me fix it.
Yep.
And we really got together. And then so Bobby Block and I, he's the director of operations this year. He was athlete relations last year. And so we are committed to coming up with contingency plans for everything that could possibly be thrown at us. Yes, the event is later. Hopefully it's outside of hurricane season, but me being from Louisiana, I know what hurricane season is all about and how finicky it could be. So, but we're going to be prepared for anything that comes at us in the event. But you're talking about space as far as scheduling. Yes, that's actually going to be very helpful. So they don't have to be, like you said, out one weekend, go back to work, and then out the weekend after that. It'll definitely help us out. And moving the qualifier up a month and then having the event back a month, it helps out with the scheduling as well.
Well, and I'll tell you, as an athlete, knowing that I can have a deload after a qualifier, so I'm not continually breaking myself down. So if the May qualifier, after that, I'd be taking a little bit of a break. All right. Because normally if it's in June, you're learning that you made it by July, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, it's 2 months away. I can't take time off. Now it's going to be 3 to 4 months in between. So you can take a little bit of time, get your body healthy, and then really make your push towards it.
Right.
Deload. I'm sorry. Are you speaking English? I don't.
I don't know what that is, but most athletes who are smart do.
Hey, there's I was one of those good athletes that I just moved from qualifier to qualifier and competition to competition, which is why now Chris brought it up. I was an athlete at the original 2020 MFC. It's why you no longer see me on leaderboards. My body said I quit. So
I will tell you, that was still like, I wasn't there, but I saw a lot of video. That your snatch was probably one of the greatest moments that I've seen in competition. So,
dude, and it's really funny because people, they look at it, I kind of, because I didn't know what I was going to hit, so I kind of was stacking on smaller plates. And so I've had people ask me, they go, man, what was that? Was that 275? Or I was like, no, dude, that was 225. And that was like a lifetime goal. And I've still never hit more than 225. And quite frankly, with the way everything feels, I have no desire to do anything more than 135 now.
Yeah.
But
did you put the small plates inside so that nobody would see what you're doing?
No, I didn't do that. But
that's against the rules, man. Don't do that.
That's what I laugh at it though, because it's very humorous because people remember that because I hit 225 and it was the wonkiest looking 225 you've ever seen. And I'm running around, I'm jumping on people, I'm jumping on Eamon and Bobby, and I was just so
great.
excited. While there are
But
guys
you got it, you nailed it.
I nailed it. Well, yeah, but there are guys that like I think I finished like I might have finished dead last in the snatch. There are guys hitting like 265, 275, and the camera's on me because I'm there. I was so excited, but and that's kind of one of those fun community things of the MFC because you still kind of see those things go on. Maybe not with me. I mean, because I'm kind of a unique human, but just in general, you see the celebrations, and it's one of those reasons why we love MFC. Okay, but so they got talking about myself. What a horrible podcast host. Yeah, let's talk about me. Anyway,
you're great.
So, Chris, you said something, and so you dropped an Easter egg in there, and so I wanna drop maybe a larger Easter egg and let people know. So you mentioned that we were going back to year one, the Fort Wayne Convention Center, the Grand Wayne Convention Center.
Yep.
Here's the deal. Is I want people to know how exciting that this is. I've been listening to Jamie and listening to Jamie's vision and Chris's vision for what is going to come. Man, it's moving back to the downtown area. For those of you that have been there, the downtown area is a really cool area in Fort Wayne, and there's a lot packed into a very small space. And the ability to just do more in the Grand Wayne Convention Center, I think is going to set up really good for the athlete experience. From all around, from you heard Chris talk about from a competition setup standpoint. I've listened to Jamie talking about Vendor Village, Jamie talking about an entrance that I think is going to be exciting for people. It's going to be one of those you want to take a picture in front of, and just the ability to spectate, whether you're in person or whether you're watching online, and be able to kind of see the story as it unfolds. I didn't know if you guys wanted to add anything to that, but I know that we're going to be putting out some things once the Open's over, going to kind of continue to build that excitement, because not only is it a cool place, but we're going to have an A-class facility.
Yeah. And Chris and Bobby are going to be coming in the next month or so to, we're going to get a lay of the land. We're going to break out what it's going to look like. We're gonna really kind of dive into it and make sure that experience that you're talking about for the athletes is top notch. Also, the hotels are attached, so you don't have to go across a busy highway to get to your Holiday Inn. You're gonna there's 3 hotels attached to the convention center that you can walk to your room in between events if you want to get a nap in. If you want to go get your food, which we will have clean eats, and we may have Asian punch as food options.
God, I miss Asian punch. Oh, right? I miss Asian punch. That's so good.
So there's going to be a lot of easier ways to do things than there was the last couple of years with the Coliseum.
Yeah. I think I'm really excited about it. I just and listening to you guys, and I think as we get further and we hop on some more podcasts, which, by the way, welcome back to the podcast season, where this will be a continual thing coming on now. As much as I would love to do this all year round, just not feasible for me and my side. And but as we continue this, once the Open finishes, kind of continue to give you guys some of the vision for what that looks like, and just so excited for all those things.
And there is some other exciting stuff about this pairs competition. You may be able to test your skills against one of the greatest that have ever done it.
I told you I'm not competing this year, Jamie.
You are actually you're signing up with Chris.
Yeah,
but you'll be possibly competing against the one and only Rich Froning and Darren Hunsucker. So there'll be a team in the pairs competition.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
I'm not going to tell you that I beat them with Josh Belleville in a competition before, but it may have happened.
I so wish I would have known that this conversation was going to happen, because we would have had the podium picture. We would have had it.
I may have it, but I don't know how to do anything with technology.
I know he has it.
I think someone might have framed it. I don't know. It's somewhere. But no, it's pretty cool that they're not only programming for it, but they're also going to participate, at least in the online part of it. We'll see how it goes, but there's a possibility some other Mayhem athletes that we know very well to be a part of it as well. So
Yeah.
they're really making it like a home feel that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I think it's important too. I mean, because I want to make sure that we continue. I mean, this is the CrossFit Pairs Championship. I think it's important that we continue to see kind of the support, the buy-in, and just kind of this championship feel. As I think for the last several years, I've been very proud of MFC and the event that they put on, and the opportunity now to compete with some incredible community and maybe even expand that community a little bit. I think that's a really awesome thing.
I agree.
Okay, so here we go. Talking about the open. Okay, now let me be very clear. Okay, so real quick, here's the instructions to it. Remember that you and your partner do the open, and then you enter your score into competition corner. Okay, that's where the scoreboard is. That's where your submission is. The CrossFit Open leaderboard is for your individual, CrossFit or competition corner for your team. You combine the scores, put them in there. So you combine the scores and put them in there. And then it is a blind leaderboard until the end or the close of the leaderboard. All right. So you're not going to know who's on there. You're not going to know where you stand. I know you're all going to do it 6 times anyway. So, just get the best one, enter it on there. And you've
speaking
got
of 6 times.
Oh, speaking of 6 times. Oh, no, go.
Yeah,
no, I'm excited. Let's hear it.
6 times. If you do it 6 times, you can keep changing your score 6 times if you want to until it closes, just because of the fact that I know that was a question on social media. Could you change your score once you entered your score in? And the answer is yes. The other thing is there was no tiebreaker. We had to build the score sheet before the announcement went out for 25.1, and then we had to scramble really quickly. And when I say we, I meant me. I'm not that. I had to do it really quickly, and I put it in there, and I'm like, oh crap, I left the tiebreaker on. We since removed it. So if you saw the tiebreaker and was wondering what the hell that was my mistake. But scorecards are there. I'm looking at the scores coming in. I know it's a blind leaderboard. I'm looking at the scores coming in. Everything's looking great, and it will be posted as soon as 25.1 closes.
Jamie, what's the most times you ever did a qualifier, like a CrossFit Open workout?
Gosh, earlier in my career when I just needed to continue to do these things, especially when it went from the open to regionals, like directly from there, 3 times would be the most.
Oh yeah.
Now, like I'm one and done. That's it. Like give the best effort and then, go home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I'm 1 and done. I'm about 3/4 and done. But yeah, I think I did one. Now this was before I got competitive. This is I kind of in that stretch, not everyone. I'm going to say me, but let's face it, we know like 80% of CrossFitters are like this. When you first start CrossFit, maybe you come from something competitive where I came from college baseball. You come from something kind of competitive and you first start CrossFit and you were more athletic than most of the people around you. So you think that you're going to make regionals this year before you actually fully understand what that means.
Yeah.
I think I did one. I think I did one 4 times. This was back when I wasn't fit enough to be doing something 4 times in the span of 4 days. And as dumb as that is to do anyway, I think, like you said, most you ever did was 3. You're 19 times fitter than I ever was. And so, 4 times. Chris, did you ever do anything that intelligent?
No. I knew early on, as soon as I met my wife, I realized what true athleticism was. I thought I was a good athlete. And then we obviously got together, and our son is just a tremendous athlete on top of that. But no, I came into CrossFit. My wife's first competition was the regionals, CrossFit regionals for Central East or Central Beast back in the good old days. And I saw the event, fell in love with it, and I realized I was just a weekend warrior. So when my open times came around, I just did it 1 and done, continued. No way.
Oh yeah. I was a 3-time CrossFit Hutto triple threat throwdown champ. So I'm still waiting for them to build my statue out here at CrossFit Hutto. They have not yet.
Well, I was, and I don't think anybody can beat me. Maybe Rich's family because they were there longer. But I was a 7-time regional spectator.
Ooh, there it is.
So I do have
He
a
was
t-shirt.
he
that
was
says
very
that.
good. He was very good.
Okay. I'll say this, and just as a humorous statement, as I'm starting to close up, so I did the open workout at when I was starting my round of 12. All right, 15-minute AMRAP. So for not AMRAP, but ascending ladder, 15-minute time cap. So for any of you who have been under a rock and have not seen what the open workout is, you start with 3 burpees over the dumbbell, 3 hang clean and jerks with the dumbbell, and then you got a 30-foot lunge down and back. All right.
Yeah.
And then you go 6, 6, and then just the 30 again, 9, 9, the 30 again. Just keeps going. I get to the round of 12. And here's the deal. I am intentionally moving as slow as possible. As slow as possible. I get to the round of 12. I do 1 burpee. And as I'm jumping over the dumbbell, I look up at the clock that is in front of me. And I see that during the round of 12, it only said 3 minutes and 35 seconds. I started laughing. Like I had to stop doing burpees because I started laughing at the ridiculousness of how bad this was about to feel. And I was absolutely correct. I did it as slow as I could, and I just laid on the ground afterwards.
I had the same feeling, except mine was more like minute 5. Because I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
I did it for the first time. I've never done Friday Night Lights or anything like that before. 13 years of doing this, I'm usually running it or spectating it because I owned the gym or whatnot. I actually got to do Friday Night Lights, and my family was there cheering me on.
Oh,
It was probably it's something that I'll remember for sure. Like,
awesome.
It's such a good vibe. The community at Mad Apple was wonderful. The workout was awful and terribly monotonous. But for the affiliate, someone setting it up, it was great. 30 feet is a perfect distance to allow for a ton of people in a heat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 30 foot wasn't good enough for me to breathe in it. So
right.
That was the tough part. But yeah, no, it was a crappy workout, but it was great to suffer with people. And I won't be doing it again.
No reduce. No reduce. Yeah. That's my judge. God bless him. He's all right. He doesn't know me very well. All right, back to the dumbbell. Move faster. I'm like, easy, bro. Easy.
Dude, I had my 3.5-year-old yelling at me to go faster.
You said that. I was really glad. If my wife and kids would have been there, like yelling at me to go faster, man, my kids are, my wife was working and my kids they're both old enough where I'm not cool anymore. And they're staying the night at friends' houses, which for Friday Night Lights is A-okay. Because if my kids would have been cheering me on, like just that dad thing in me. Oh yeah. We wouldn't be doing this right now because I'd still be passed out on the gym floor. So
that's fair.
All right. Well, hey guys, the CrossFit Open is upon us, and so begins the CrossFit Pairs Championship. The online qualifier for the individual qualification for MFC is going to be May 9th to the 18th. So be looking out for that. That's going to function very similar to how it always has, just continuing to expand here on the team side and the pairs and bring something new to the world of CrossFit and allow them to be a part of MFC. We're going to be continuing with our podcast series as now back in the open, moving forward. Got a lot more opportunities and excited to be doing that. Chris, Jamie, anything you guys want to wrap up with?
No, just go ahead, Jamie.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I think you said it all. So I'm lucky to be a part of this for year 6 and really looking forward to it.
Same.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I have a tendency to say a lot of words and take all the good ones. So
that's okay by me, man. I'm so far introverted. I just like the less I speak, the better.
Well, hey guys, man, part of the MFC family, those that have been a part of it, those that are new to it, welcome, enjoy. Man, this is an incredible community. And hey, we'll be seeing you in Fort Wayne pretty soon.